Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Marcus.
I'm Ryan.
And together, we are the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Back at you guys with a new video. Northwest Sports Fanatics show presented by Rip City The Beat. The Beat. Shout out to PJ out there. Thanks, PJ. Appreciate everything.
Crazy game last night.
So today's show, we'll give you guys a finals recap.
Right.
Mr. Jeremy Macklin has decided on where he's going to play football next year.
Right. And a little update with Floyd Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and Conor McGregor.
The fight everybody wants to see.
Absolutely. So the Warriors last night, 129-120. They beat up the Cavs in Game 5, won the series 4-1. What do you think about the series overall and everything that happened last night?
I mean, Golden State, they won the rubber match. You know, the last 3 years they've met in the finals. I do believe the way both teams are constructed that they'll meet again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it just showed the pure dominance of the Warriors with adding Kevin Durant to their team. LeBron, you need some help, man.
Right. So the Cavs what really impressed me, even though they lost the series and they won Game 4, which was surprising when they had 49, I believe, in the first quarter. Yep. I don't think I've ever seen a team almost get 50 in a first quarter. Right. It was insane, right? But they came out hot in this game, which really impressed me. 37 points in the first quarter. They won the battle in the first quarter. They won the battle in the third quarter with 33 points. But lo and behold, the two most important quarters, arguably, in a game are the second quarter and the fourth quarter. And who owned those quarters? The Dubs, the Golden State Warriors. So in the second quarter, the Warriors went on a 28-4 run. Wow. That really kind of expanded the lead. And most importantly, that fourth quarter, they kind of punched Cleveland in the mouth. Kevin Durant played like an MVP in the first 4 games, and he capped it off in the 5th game with a 39-point, 7-rebound, 5-assist game. KD now is the first player to have 30-plus points in every game of the finals since who? Shaquille O'Neal in 2002. So pretty impressive. KD really stepped his game up this year.
Yeah, he definitely stepped his game up, and hopefully he silenced everyone by saying he doesn't show up in the finals or the big games. Yeah, he's good, but can he win the big one? Check his stats out. 35 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 55% from the field, 47% from 3-point range. I mean, what more do you want from the guy?
Right. I think the most impressive thing for me that people aren't talking about really a lot is like what you mentioned earlier is the defense was incredible. Right. His shooting percentage was off the chain. It was unreal. And I kind of felt his 3-point game got a little bit better in this playoff run rather than in years past. Maybe it's just the surrounding talent of, people assisting him in the right time, and he can kind of follow through and, set his feet. But it just seemed like he was just locked in, pretty much every game. And I was trying to find weaknesses in his game, something that he just wasn't doing right. But I really couldn't see anything. I mean, obviously LeBron's going to be LeBron,
of course,
and they're going to kind of cancel each other out. But as far as you look at shooting percentage, Kevin Durant definitely won that battle over LeBron game in and game out in this finals.
I mean, Kevin Durant, if you look at the Warriors the last 3 years, 207 wins, 39 losses.
That's insane, man. That's incredible. And think about it. If it wasn't for the LeBron and Kyrie factor, right, last year with the 3-1, this would be a three-peat.
Yep.
And then they could probably go for another 3 finals in a row because I really don't see a whole lot of competition. Steph Curry, a.k.a. Chef Curry, he cooked up the competition again.
Yes, he did.
He wasn't injured this year in this playoff run, so he obviously showed how dominant he was. 34 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. He was pretty much just firing at will, just like how we're kind of used to seeing him do in the regular season, but it was really nice to see him do it in the playoffs. Really, if you think about it, it was a sweet victory for both KD and obviously Steph Curry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They both blew 3-1 leads. Right, last year, right? And then KD blew one with the Warriors in the series prior to the finals when obviously the Warriors blew it to the Cavs. So as the saying goes, if you can't beat them, join them. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are, hating on Kevin Durant. But, I mean, think about it. If you had a choice to stay where you were and you weren't going to get a whole lot of help and you had problems with Russell Westbrook, or you could join a team where more than likely you're going to go to 2 finals in 2 years, maybe win one of those 2 or possibly both. I mean, it's kind of hard to turn down. Great coach, great bench, arguably the best bench in the league. And you got 3 other all-stars that you can play with that are all unselfish. Pretty sweet scenario.
You just said the key point there, unselfishness. And when you look at that team, they Golden State is the meaning of selfishness. When you look it up in the
Right.
dictionary, their whole team will be like, hey,
Right.
I mean, Steph Curry, 26 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists for the series. I was kind of surprised he didn't get no finals MVP votes, which all went to possibly Durant.
Right. I think that Durant was well deserving though, because if you think about it, he really impacted the game on both sides of the ball in every game.
Yep.
Steph had a couple games where he wasn't as on point, but I
Game
mean,
4.
right. But as far right, but as far as consistency, that's what you get the MVP award for, is who is the most consistent, dominant player. Who could they win with or without? And obviously, if Durant wasn't there, we could have a totally different scenario in the series.
Oh yeah.
I think the Warriors probably still would have been able to win the series, but it probably would have went 7. You know what I mean? If Durant wasn't there, it definitely would have been a lot more even. I want to talk a little bit about LeBron quickly. LeBron was LeBron. King James, 41 points, 13 boards, 8 assists. He was doing everything on the floor besides, as you see in the highlight, not guarding Kevin Durant very well there. Kyrie, follow up his 40-point game in game 4, which was phenomenal, but again, had a poor shooting day. 9 for 22. Come on, buddy.
40%.
You were so clutch, last year. And I think a lot of people are going to start to kind of second guess you that maybe you're not a top 3-point guard. Maybe you're just the point guard that has the best handles, and that's it. 26 points for that 9 for 22 performance. But I felt Kyrie, his performance was pretty weak. But the main one I really want to talk about, and this is like really grinding my gears right now, is the reason that the Cavs lost. Kevin Love.
Milk carton.
Come on, bud. You're from Oregon. Represent the state, man. This is the second game in the finals where it's just unexcusable, unacceptable for someone who is an all-star caliber player. Right. It was just a few years ago, you were getting 20 and 20, 20 points, 20 boards. I know T-Wolves didn't really have a whole lot back then, and you were the man and you were getting the touches, but where is that guy? He's nowhere to be seen. He shot 2 for 8, 0 for 3 from long range, 6 points.
He did have 10 rebounds though.
Right, but how the hell are you going to win the finals? You know what I mean? When JR and Tristan Thompson finally stepped up, right? Kyrie and LeBron got theirs, and you have the worst stat line out of that starting 5. Do you think Chris Bosh would have did that in the big 3? There's no way.
I think it was good for JR to kind of finally step up. First 3 games was
right.
Blah, and back-to-back 20-point games. He got hot from a 3-point range. Kevin Love, man, he did disappear 2 for 8. That's definitely not going to cut it. But like you said, LeBron was LeBron. He'd averaged 33 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists throughout the finals. Past Magic for the most finals, triple doubles. He's the first player in NBA history to lead not only his team but the opposing team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. Now that's greatness.
Right. And a lot of people are going to shy away from the 3-5 record in the finals, you're not going to be able to compare him to Jordan 6-0,
of course.
And some of these other guys that have a little bit better stat lines. But like you were mentioning before, if you look at like Magic Johnson's stat line, I believe he was 5-4,
5-4,
right? And then Kareem was 6-4.
6-4.
So that's not, that much better. We know LeBron will get up. Maybe
he'll be back.
He'll get at least 1 more or 2 more before his career is over. But you know how the haters are.
Right.
The haters love to hate. You know what I mean? But LeBron to me still is the best player in the world, even though Kevin Durant played like it in this series. I think he's kind of the measuring stick has gotten closer. Because it used to be LeBron and then KD and then everyone else. But now you got Kawhi.
Close that gap.
Kawhi and KD have closed the gap.
Yes,
and
sir.
It's getting closer. But I want to talk about the bench really quick. Bench players and what happened. Andre Iguodala. Let's talk about him. He was kind of, in the shadows for a majority of the series, right? He led all bench players on both teams with a monster, I'm going to say it again, monster, 9 for 14 shooting night, 20 points, 3 rebounds, 3 boards off the bench.
And that's just him by himself. But then when you look at the Cavs bench, Kyle Korver, Richard Jefferson,
it's going good.
Darren Williams, Iman Shumpert, combined for 7 points.
Right.
And 6 turnovers. Yeah. Even that together doesn't equal 20 points that Iguodala had.
Right. So Cavs only played 4 players on their bench, combined 7 points. Warriors played 5 players on the bench for a combined 35 points. So that was kind of the big difference, between both teams, if you really, want to kind of compare stats for stats. But Iggy, he won the 2015 NBA Finals. MVP award. So for him to step up in this game wasn't really that surprising. I want to throw a couple facts out there really quick as well. 16-1 in the playoffs for the Warriors. It is not 16-0, right? But it's the best winning percentage of any title team.
They looked really good.
941.
So, like everything that we see on the screen looks perfect.
941. That's a tremendous win percentage. And quickly before we go, of course, LeBron needs some help. So in the next couple of months, you're going to hear all the rumors: Paul George, Chris Paul, Melo, DeMarcus Cousins. Who's going to come to the aid of LeBron James, because he definitely needs help.
Right. Warriors became the first Bay Area team to capture a championship at home since the Oakland A's finished the Dodgers in Game 5, 1974 World Series. The Dubs won the battle in the rebound game, assist game, three-pointers made, and just coincidentally, the Dubs made 3 more threes than the Cavs, and the final score was a 9-point difference. So congratulations, obviously, to the Warriors. Hell of a series.
Yes, it was.
But it was kind of expected.
Well, it was a hell of a series, but it was kind of a lot of star power made it a hell of a series, but it was pretty much one-sided.
Right.
All right. So there you have it, NBA Finals recap. One of my favorite receivers just got cut loose, and he found a new home.
Right. Jeremy Maclin. So he had a couple choices, got kind of dwindled down to the 2 teams, the Ravens and the Bills. So, it's one of those things. Do you want to play with your friend, LaShawn McCoy, or do you want to go to more of a playoff contending team? Now, with LaShawn McCoy, you're on a bad team with new coaches that are unproven. Right. So that's kind of you don't really know if you want to take that risk. Right. Or like I mentioned, you can go to maybe a playoff contending team where possibly you could be in the running for being the number 1 receiver. Right. Now, he decided to go with the smart choice and go with Joe Flacco and the Ravens. So that gives Flacco the best wide receiver since Steve Smith Jr., who obviously recently retired. So I think this is a good fit for him. Instead of playing with your friend, you went for the smart choice. But was the real reason maybe because Joe Flacco is a better quarterback or more opportunities? Or was it the offer from Jimmy's Famous Seafood?
What they offer him?
All right, so they offered him. Now this Jimmy, if you're not familiar with Jimmy's Famous Seafood, they host Ravens players regularly. On that part of the country,
and DMV thing,
right? And they offered him free crab cakes for the length of his contract. Then he took a little while to sign and was thinking about it. Then they upped the ante and say free crab cakes for life. Now that's an offer. So maybe that's the big reason that he decided. And I know he loves crab cakes because I know with Jimmy's they were saying they'll put it against any cheesecake any day. Philly's, cheesecake, steak,
Buffalo wings.
Right, buffalo wings. So, obviously they're pretty confident of their product, but that's a hell of an offer.
Yeah, that is a real good offer. Maclin got 2 years, $11 million for choosing the Ravens over the Bills. He joins Mike Wallace, Brashard Perryman. But no, I'm not gonna say it yet. Yeah. But you got to prove something this year, Mr. Perryman. All the potential in the world, and Maclin, which isn't a great trio of wide receivers. Last year, Flacco only averaged 9 yards per reception per throw, and I think Maclin at 6'2", big strong receiver. He also has decent speed. He'll help Flacco get that yards per completion percentage up.
How's it going?
Yeah, and the rumor is that Eric Decker as well, possibly maybe joining the Ravens. So Eric Decker, 30 years old, 43 TDs since 2012, ranks 5th in the NFL. So that could be a hell of a combo if both guys can stay healthy throughout the season.
Yeah, and it'll definitely help more if they get more from the run game, and Ben Watson coming back from injury. That should be huge. Bolden, Dirk Mason, Steve Smith, Torrey Smith. They all played with Flacco and made him better. And I think the addition of Maclin will have the same impact as those players did as well.
Right. And obviously it's going to be tough going against Pittsburgh and some of the other teams in the division.
Cincinnati.
Right, Cincinnati. But they've lost all their O-linemen, and so they're not really the same team anymore. I think Cincinnati kind of had their run. But Pittsburgh is definitely the team that's the upper hand in the division.
All right, so there you guys have it. Mr. Maclin chose Baltimore as his home. Now, there's been some rumblings going on regarding the super fight between McGregor and Floyd Mayweather.
Right. So Mayweather Promotion seeking an August date of the 26th in Vegas to have the big fight. So we've been kind of hearing about the rumors, on and off. 40 years old, Mayweather is. He's about to come out of this 23-month retirement bout to go against the 28-year-old McGregor. Mayweather 49-0, 26 KOs versus McGregor's UFC record of 21-3. Most likely will take place in T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. Now, the original date was September 16th.
Right.
Golden Boy Promotions took that date for Canelo Alvarez versus Golovkin middleweight championship fight. So they kind of had to reschedule. Mayweather is the master of the jab, and if this is a boxing fight, you're going into his wheelhouse.
Exactly.
You're in his ring, in his yard. You know what I mean? When I see McGregor, I mean, he's a UFC fighter that can box, but he kind of reminds me of Tyler Durden, aka Brad Pitt from Fight Club. You know what I mean? Like, he just has that scrappy, quick on his feet, kind of crazy, mentality. But I think if it really comes down to just one-on-one boxing and boxing alone, I think Mayweather is just going to work him.
Of course, Mayweather is one of the greatest boxers that we've seen. And McGregor is one of the greatest UFC fighters that we've seen.
Right.
So you're kind of balancing skill against skill, and McGregor, you are a great fighter in the ring with your hands. But when you're boxing a boxer, all of the grabbing and the chokeholds,
right.
and you can't get away with that. Right. Now, I do think McGregor, he has some power in his punch. Don't get me wrong. The key to this fight, if McGregor can knock him out, you only got 3 rounds to do it. If you let Floyd get past that 3rd round, it's done deal. It's a wrap.
Right.
The fat lady is going to start singing.
Right.
So that's going to be a key look into that fight. The first 3 rounds, if he can knock him out. If not, Floyd is a technician, and he's just going to play with you and toy with you the whole rest of the fight.
Right. And I feel almost like Floyd's stamina, and his jabbing ability are his 2 strengths. Right. So, I mean, he has the stamina to go 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 rounds, if he needed to.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just don't think that McGregor will be able to hit him cleanly. And you got to think Mayweather has everything to lose. McGregor has everything to gain. Because, right. I mean, if Mayweather loses, it goes against his record, even though it is a UFC fighter. People will put that against him. McGregor already has 3 losses. No one really expects him to win. So if he wins, he can put a little, notch on his belt. But like I said, it's going to be for the money. And it kind of makes me wonder if it's going to be rigged. If they decide maybe, McGregor goes down early, maybe in the first couple rounds and, gets fake knocked out, and then they can do a Mayweather McGregor 2, maybe for instead of 100 million, maybe 200 million. I could see something like that happening. And you don't want to really talk about things being fixed or rigged, but
that doesn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. But, it's all about that money. And that's really what's making this fight happen right now.
All right. So there you guys have it. Northwest Sports Fanatics game, NBA Finals recap. Little Jeremy Macklin update and some breaking news on the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather fight.
Yeah.
We'll be back at you real soon, possibly with a Blazer draft preview. I know the draft is coming up, so we need to get on that ASAP.
Yeah.
I'm Marcus. This is Orion. Only got one question for you. Who talk sports like us?
Northwest Sports Fanatics.